Hey everybody, I am going to be making a character design tutorial and rigging tutorial. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I still want to keep you guys updated with things that you want to see. And a couple of my subscribers have asked me how to do a couple of little things. So I'm going to go ahead and update with a couple of tutorials today. And the first one is the lightsaber tutorial. The previous one was made in Anime Studio 11 and it was using reference layers. But a couple of people asked me, how do I make speed lines or how do I make it look blurred like in the movies when I'm swinging the lightsaber? And one of my other subscribers pointed out to me that you can make a lightsaber without Anime Studio Pro. You can probably do this in Anime Studio Debut, as a matter of fact. So you don't actually need reference layers. You can just use shapes instead of a stroke. And so here's the old lightsaber right here. And this is the new one. And it's actually the same exact setup, except for using strokes. I now have shapes that I've drawn. And it's actually just as easy to animate. You can, let's go to frame 1 and I'll hit G. I'm going to grab all of the endpoints on this, including the glow. I made the glow a separate layer because it just looks better to me. Kind of adds a little bit more of a headache, but it's still, I like the way it looks. So I'm going to grab all the points of the end of this lightsaber and just pull it back to the handle. And since I made a glow, it's on a separate layer because I used the blending mode add to make it look a little better. So I have to grab that and shrink that too. Okay, so we'll just go to frame 48 and I'm going to hit Command A. That selects all of the points on the glow, and then I'm just going to hit T and tap on it so it makes a keyframe. I'm also going to go into the lightsaber itself and hit Command A. It selects all of its points and hit T, and that just creates a keyframe for the beginning of the lightsaber. We'll just drag down a little bit down the timeline. I'm going to hit G and grab the endpoints of my lightsaber and hit T and pull them out, holding shift down so it stays horizontal. And we'll just make it like that. And then we'll go back to the click on the glow and grab the endpoints. Oh, they're already selected. Oops. And there we go. Grab these points to make the glow come out. Hit G, select them, hit T, and then grab and pull. And you can't see it right now, but that's actually a glow. I put the same effects on, so it actually looks like a lightsaber when I render it out. So it animates just the same as before. And you can control the swing by selecting the folder and moving it around. So you actually can do this. I don't know if Debut lets you do the special effects, but at least you can still make a lightsaber appear and disappear in Anime Studio Debut. Okay, so now that we have that, the question was, how do I make it look like it's moving really fast or doing those kind of speed blurs? So because we have a shape, what we'll do now is I'm going to go to a frame and I'm going to first select the lightsaber layer or folder, and I'm going to create a swing. So I'll just tap on it here on the rotation, and then I'll go about 4 or 5 frames in and swing it upwards. And I've placed the pivot point right there on the handle. And then tap on that again a little farther down, and then we'll swing it back. And you only want to do this if you only have, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 frames, maybe 5. Otherwise it doesn't look right. So they have to be pretty fast swings to look correct. Otherwise, I wouldn't use this technique. And maybe one more. Put the keyframes a little closer together. So now that we've got the swings going, what we want to do is go to the first frame that we've made before the swing, and we'll go into the lightsaber layer. Well, I should name that. Okay, so we're in the lightsaber shapes, and what we're going to do is Command A and select all, and create a keyframe for everything. And let's make sure we got them. Make sure you click on both of the shapes. There's an inner shape, the white and the red. And then we'll go to the last frame that it stops on. So right there. Do the same thing. Create keyframes. Make sure you click on both the shapes. And the reason we're doing that is so the lightsaber returns back to normal. So the speed lines come in here in between those frames we've made. So we'll go to the first frame it moves. We'll zoom into the lightsaber, and what we're going to do is just hit G and select these points right here, and hit T and just pull them down a little bit, like that. I know it looks weird, but that's exactly what you want. And then I'll just use the arrow key and hit the right arrow key and move back. And since those points are still selected, I'll just pull it down a little more. And then I won't do anything for this keyframe or this frame. I'll just let it return back to normal. Since we already created a keyframe for it to be normal, it just snaps back. So it just kind of pulls it apart a little bit. And then we're going to do the same exact thing for the glow. So we'll go to the frame just before it moves, right here, hit T and select the glow shape, and then go to where it stops and click on the glow shape again to make another keyframe. Then we'll go back to the first one where it moves. This time we're just going to grab this one and cover up the lightsaber swing. Do it one more time, and then this last frame, I think it'll just, yeah, cover it up. So there's one swing, and we'll find the next one. Let's see. There's where it moves. We'll go back one, click on the lightsaber, click on the shapes, both of them. Go to the end swing, and it stops right there. Click on both the shapes again, and then go back to the first frame. It moves. This time we'll grab some of the top points, hit T, and pull them out like that a little bit. Hit the right arrow key, move them up again just a little bit, and we can just let it return back to normal, its normal state, or whatever you want to call it. And I think was that it? Oh, one more. And okay, so there's the frame before it starts. Click on both the shapes, sets the keyframe, and the last, oops, where's it at? Right there. Set the keyframes by clicking on them. Go back to the first one it moves, hit G, select these points, and hit T, grab and pull, and only need to do it once right here. Same thing with the glow. Go back to the first frame, glow, hit T, select the shape, and click on it again at the end. And in the middle, we'll just hit T and grab this point and pull it down over that. Oops. See, I didn't make a starting frame for this. Let's do this. I didn't make a starting frame for the glow, so that's why it's bending really weird. Right there. So we're gonna copy, select this keyframe, copy it, and then we'll just paste it right here. And I think that looks good. Let's see. That looks good. Oh, I missed a swing right here. So where is it? Okay. That's the first one. I'll go ahead and grab the this keyframe here, copy and paste it. Oh, we're gonna have to do it on the lightsaber, I think. Copy paste. There we go. And then okay. Create a start or a starting or end frame right there. And let's see. Now we just need to do the glow on this one, I think. Start frame, end frame, and let's just see if we can just do one in between. Nope. We'll go to the first frame, pull that, second frame. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that was really quick. So if you have any questions, let me know. But let's turn a background on, and I'll go ahead and just render this out so you can see what it actually looks like. It looks crazy when you're animating it, but when you render it looks pretty nice. Okay, so here's the final render, and you can see it works just like the old one. Make it appear, and when it moves, now it looks like it's got a little bit of speed behind it. So that's it for that tutorial, and I'm gonna try and do another one tonight for turning a shoe. So let's see if we can get that going. Okay, the second tutorial is going to be for my man over at Proper Gander Productions. He asked me if I could make a shoe turn tutorial, and it's going to be exactly like the body turn tutorial, but a little bit simpler, but just for the shoes in particular. And so you can see right here, I started off, I just grabbed some pictures off the internet of a shoe. You can use your iPhone and take pictures of your own shoe if you want, for reference. But so I just have 5 positions. So the side, quarter view, or 3/4 view, front view, and then of the sides again. So, and I have those all in one folder, and I'm just gonna drag the vector layer up to the top, and I'll just call it my shoe. And I already, when I brought these pictures in, I made sure to line them up pretty close to the pivot point, which would be where the leg is. So right around here is the center. And so I just kind of tried to make the center of the shoe be right there, or the center of the pivot, I should say. So we'll just start off real simple. We'll turn on the first picture, go to my shoe, and I'm just gonna turn off the autofill and have just the stroke on. I'm just gonna use green, hold shift down and click a color, and zoom in here a little bit, turn the stroke down to maybe 2, just the size I like. And I'll just draw a rectangle over the top. I just like using rectangle to start off with, it just seems easier for me. And I'm gonna hit A and add some points, and add some curves. Hit T to move points that are already there. And let's go around and add. Get the basic shape down. And don't worry about the shoelaces and all the details and things like that. We really just want to get the shape of the shoe down. So I have the basic shape. Now I'm going to hit C so I can curve some of these points out. Then I'm just going to click and right drag to curve this out. And you only have to hover near the point. You don't have to actually go right on it to start curving a point out, which is really nice. A really good feature in Anime Studio. Oops. Too much. Do that, curve that out. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna take these kind of, I don't know what you call them, curves out. I just want to get the basic outline of the shoe, so let's take these out. It's just gonna make it easier to turn. Okay. And now we're gonna create a bone, and we'll call it shoe turn, and we'll drag the shoe vector that we just created in there, and selecting the bone layer, we'll do add bone, and we'll just draw a bone here, and let's just shoe turn. And I like to know what the bones are, or label the bones, I should say. So I'm just going to turn that on. And I color it just because I can. And let's go ahead and turn the strength down because we don't need that. And actually, let's go ahead and turn this bone to the side because it'll just look nicer when we do that. So we'll just do that. Let's move it out of the way a little bit. Actually, put it on top. And now we're going to create smart bone action. So go into Window, Actions, and click on Smart Bones, and then we'll hit New, and we need to name it Shoe Turn. Exactly what the bone's named. Turn, hit OK. And so now the timeline is turned blue, and we have our first keyframe already made because we just drew the side view. And then we'll go ahead and go to frame 12. And with the bone layer selected, we'll click on the bone, rotate it. I'm going to hold shift down so it clicks at a 45-degree angle. We'll put that there. Then we'll turn on the second shape, which is a 3/4 view. And then we're just going to grab points in the vector layer and move those around. And just like the body turn tutorial, I'm trying to keep most of the points horizontal. I'm trying to keep them lined up as best as I can. Obviously the bottom won't. That won't work. But for when you're turning the shoe, like the tongue and the back heel, it just looks better if it's lined up correctly. And let's do that. And this is kind of why I took those curves out at the bottom. It's just going to be easier to get the basic shape down first. And move those around. And curve these out some. Again, hitting C. Clicking and pulling to the right. And actually we can put the little the arc of the foot. Curve that out. Maybe like that. That's pretty close. Okay, so then we'll go to frame 24 and click on the bone layer, hit T and click on the bone itself, and then turn it. We'll hold shift down so it's pointing straight down. Then we'll turn on the next layer, which is facing forward. Click on our vector layer again and do the same thing. Just move points. And this is definitely why I need a reference layer, because you know, you'd think drawing a shoe would be easy, but from a front angle, shoes look really, really weird. So and that's pretty good. And let's go to frame 36. You don't have to do these frames spaced out this much. I just like doing them where there's markers. So turn on that view and start moving points. Like I said with the body turn tutorial, it seems kind of tedious at first, but it actually will save you a lot of time, because once you have this set up, you can use it for other rigs. You can, it's just, it actually will save you time in the long run. So it's kind of handy, but you don't have to actually do a smart bone action. I just like using smart bones to control certain movements, but you could actually just do the same thing, trace these 5 pictures and use a switch layer if you don't want to interpolate or do the in-between keyframes. Feet aren't that important to animate. I mean, they are, but not as important as the face or the hands. Those are the most expressive parts of the body. Feet, not really. But, oops. Okay. I think that looks good. And then we'll go to frame 48. Turn that last layer on. Hold shift down to move the canvas a little bit, and we'll just finish up this last one. Again, I'm trying to keep these kind of vertical, or as much as possible. And curving these back in and out as I need. And oops, where's that point at? There we go. And that's about it. There, pretty close. Okay, let's see. I think that looks pretty good. I don't know. Let's turn the pictures off and let's go. Let's actually fill the shoe now. Let's make it the fill, turn that on. Make the outline black and turn this gradient off. We'll just make it brown. Everybody loves brown shoes, right? Let's go to the main timeline. And let me move this bone a little bit up. So let's go in the timeline. Grab this. Oh, you know what? I didn't do the keyframes for the last two pictures, so we did the last keyframes for the artwork, but not the bone. So go to frame 36, inside of the shoe turn. Make sure you're on the bone layer. Hit T. I'm gonna hold shift down and angle it to the left, like that. Go to frame 48. Grab it, hold shift down, and turn it all the way. And double click back or into the main timeline. Now, let's see. There we go. That looks pretty good, except for I don't know, the tongue looks kind of funny. But let's see. How can we do this? Well, that's pretty much it for turning a shoe, or any other object actually, is using references anyway, and then rigging it to a smartbone. What I'm going to try and do is add some more details and use masking. If you don't know how to use masking for putting on details and making them appear and disappear, check out my body tutorial on YouTube. So I'll clean this up and we'll see what we have at the end. Okay, I add a little bit of detail to the shoe, but it's pretty bad. But I do have the turn. Oops. So I come in here and I can use this bone to turn. But this is just an example to show someone on YouTube that you can create a foot turn. And these details are really bad, and I didn't line up some of these points, so it animates kind of funny. It doesn't animate the way it actually should, especially with the arches. But you guys still can get the idea. The details are just masks, and they're really just crazy shapes. You can see right here that the white of the shoe is just this weird square block thing that I drew over and masked it out, and I masked out this Anime Studio symbol. And as it turns, you can see I just morphed the let's go into the shoe turn itself. In the shoe turn, you can see how the shapes, the detail shapes, just morph also. And I used Anime Studio logo on the side and squished it, and then in one frame I just moved it all the way to the other side of the shoe and then reanimated it back to the other side of the shoe. So I'll probably end up doing a much more detailed and nicer looking shoe when I do the big character design tutorial. So, but for now, this should do. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. Thanks.